Welcome to an episode of Podtalks with myself, Richie Bra, and Daniella Del Carpio.
Hi guys, well, today we're going to be doing a Q&A and we're going to be answering some of the questions that you guys ask us on Instagram. And they're mainly about fitness, they're mainly about caloric deficit, and we also have some related to our health. So we're going to jump straight into it. But again, remember, if you have any other questions, send it to me, send it to Rachel. That's exactly why we do this podcast. So you guys can ask anything. The more you ask, the more you're going to learn. That's the best way that you can learn. Otherwise, you're going to keep everything to yourself and you're going to maybe search it up on Google, and there's just too much misinformation out there. And we don't want you to believe in those things. Like there's good things, obviously, but there's also so much bullshit out there. So, okay, let's get started. So I've got one question right here. Let me see. Okay, so the question is it normal to feel hungry even after eating all my meals? I am in a caloric deficit right now.
Interesting. I think it
Yeah.
depends how far this calorie deficit has gone on for. And look, at the end of the day, there's so many different ways to tackle this. So the first thing would be like picking foods that help make us feel fuller. So you want to think about protein. You want to think about volume foods. So volume foods are things like adding in foods that are fibrous. So your veggies and your salads, etc. They can help buff up meals. You know, they give you a bit more bang for your buck because they're lower in calories, but they're going to be helping you a bit more fuller. So even things like broths and stuff like that as well, depending if it's, like winter and things like that. So there are many ways that you can try and create more volume in your food, which is a nice, good hack. Another one is just to make sure that your foods, your actual meals, are feeling wholesome. And what I mean by that, if you've been given a calorie target and you're in a deficit, you're in a deficit, you need to plan your meals better. Because what I often find, Daniella, is I'm sure we've both been there potentially in the past, because I know what it feels like to be in that deficit and, you feel like you're just picking. If you do not pre-plan your meals and you don't know what you're going to have, unfortunately, you are going to feel very unsatisfied, and you can fall into the trap if you haven't pre-planned of eating a certain way during the morning for your breakfast, and then you're snacking and you're picking, and then it gets to 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you're like, okay, I'm really hungry, but I've got hardly any calories left because I eat dinner at 7 o'clock and I want to save some for then. So I think this is where pre-planning needs to be better. And ideally, I think personally, if you are in a calorie deficit, snacks, like just get rid of them. Personally, that's my tip. Snacking,
Really?
stop the snacking and go for fuller meals that make you feel more satisfied, and drink water in between. That would be my thing.
Mm. So when you say snacking, like when you say like just have three main meals a day and don't have like the snacks in between.
Or have four main meals a day, however it fits for you. So if say you start your day at like 6 a.m. in the morning, right? You get up, you have again, maybe it's a smaller portion of a breakfast. It might be something just to kind of energize your workout if you train in the morning. So you're going to have your small meal, let's call it, rather than a snack, because I feel like snacks, people tend to think of bags of crisps and nuts and stuff,
Yeah.
and picky chocolate, whatever, rice cakes, right? Just have the sustenance, get the food in, come back. Maybe you've trained, you've come back, you sit down and you have your like proper big brunchy breakfast. And then, you're going to have maybe a bit more time in between that. And then like 1:30 might be your next feeding. So that could be, I guess, meal 3. And then perhaps maybe you might, again, have a few hours in between. And then, you've got your meal 4. Again, it all depends on your working life and your schedule. But I just feel like larger meals always make me feel more satisfied. And that doesn't work for everyone. But it's just something that I kind of think it might be a tactic to try, especially because I know I'm being very generalized here, but I feel like as women, it's so easy to kind of go, I'm not really eating very much and I'm just snacking and picking, especially if you're a mom or if you're at work and you've got a desk job and you just, your hand goes in and the next minute, like the bag of nuts is done. That's kind of why I kind of say that. And yeah, look, being in a calorie deficit is hard. second to that, after, you know, volume foods and maybe having more fulfilling, satisfying meals, I would think about how long have you been in this deficit for? And is it worth exploring with your coach, having some form of increase depending on how long this stretch has been? You know, if you've been in this deficit for months, it might be time to kind of have a period away from it, or almost like a diet break. As again, how close are you to your goal as well? You know, is it just like the final bit that you just need to kind of dig deep and push through on to get to your goal? But the thing is, neither of us coach like bodybuilders, so I mean, it never really needs to be that extreme. So again, is this someone who's being coached by someone who's literally got them eating 800 calories a day, or have they self-prescribed that? It's just bizarre. And it's not just women that do this. I've had a conversation with like males as well, male clients that I've coached, and you know, when they've come to me and they've literally said, yeah, I'm just eating 1200 calories a day. And I'm like, what? Okay, I did a photo shoot recently, Daniela, and I did a cut for it, a mini cut. I was not on that low calories, like not as low as him. And I was shedding weight, and I was not doing cardio. I was getting my steps in most days. You know, it's like, you don't need to think 1200 calories unless something else is going on that we can't see. Weekend cheats, right?
Yeah. You don't have to eat too little. Like, to be in a deficit, it doesn't mean eat 800 calories or like 1000 or 1.2. You don't have to eat. That's why you need the structure. Like, as long as you know your structure and you have a really good breakdown of your macros. Because another mistake that people make is like, yeah, just protein, and then zero fats or like zero carbohydrates. But you need every single macronutrient, not just protein. Protein, amazing, yes, but you also need your carbs for your energy. You also need your fats for your hormones, so you need that. And yeah, I think having also a really good structure with the timing of your meals, not that the timing is important. It's not going to make a difference if you eat at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., but just having a structure with your meals. And I think that's why planning your meals, knowing exactly, okay, breakfast is going to be around, let's say, 7 a.m. My first snack, for me, I feel like there's nothing wrong with the snacks. So I'll say like first snack around, I don't know, 10 a.m., whatever. But just work out your meals, your meal timing. So you know what time your last meal is going to be. That way you're not too hungry in between meals, or you don't finish your last meal at like 5 p.m. and then you have from 5 p.m. until the time to go to sleep, you're going to be craving, starving, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. But I also feel like, I also feel like feeling hungry when you're in a deficit, it can be sometimes psychological, because you're like, yeah, I'm in a deficit, I'm eating less calories, I'm hungry. But are you really hungry, or do you think you're hungry? Because I've done that mistake in the past. As soon as I knew that I was in a caloric deficit, I was like, yeah, I'm hungry. I'm constantly hungry. I'm hungry all the time. But it was not because I was actually hungry. It was because I knew I was in a deficit. I knew I was eating less. So my mind straight away was like, you're going to be hungry in between meals. You're going to be hungry after your last meal. So it's like, yeah, you just got to ask yourself that question. And like Rich say, like, add more volume to your food. So more veggies. That's going to make you feel fuller for longer. It's going to be more tasty as well if you have more like broccoli or, you know, whatever veggies you want to have, capsicum, cucumber. It's just nice, tasty, crunchy. You don't have to worry about the calories because they're very low in calories, and you're going to be more satisfied because they're high in fiber. So yeah, that's what I would say. If it's completely normal. So it's 100% normal. But just, again, depends how long you've been doing that deficit, because you want to be going maximum 3 months. You don't want to be going any longer than that. Because if you are, that's going to become unhealthy. And mentally, that's going to become very, very challenging. Because there's no way that we can live on 1,000 calories for 5, 6, 7, 8 months. It's too drastic. We've done that mistake. Don't do it.
No,
Too
don't
much.
do it. And that's the thing, it's conversations that you need to have with yourself about it and your coach, you know, if you are working with someone. Again, actually trusting your coach, Daniela, I'd say as well, that when it is time for a diet break, it's okay. We can do this, you know, it's not going to take you backwards, because I feel like that's also the fear as well. And I know that that's the fear with a lot of my clients. And I know some of you girls are listening. So just don't think that that is the only way. You know, you're on this train and you've got to keep going down and into this deficit, and that's the only way it's going to. We need to have breaks, and those breaks can come in the format of, you know, during your menstrual, certain times of your menstrual cycle that work for you, during social events, if there's something going on, if you've got birthdays coming up. I mean, you know, we're a long way away from it, but Christmas, but similarly, even for holidays as well, that's a diet break in itself, right? So it's important. And then we can always just, you know, back in on a Monday. All good.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Yeah.
My turn to ask you a question
Good
now.
question. Yeah.
Oh, I like this one. So what are some effective strategies for building and maintaining muscle mass in women, especially as we age?
I think you got to think about both training and nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So with training, something that you probably guys already know, but you want to make sure that you're getting your protein. And I feel like as we get older, people maybe don't really pay too much attention to the protein. They focus more on the veggies. They focus more on other things, and they forget about adding that chicken or that steak or that fish. But having your protein is going to be important. Tofu, yeah, the vegetarian chickpeas, tofu. But it's gonna be very important to add your protein if you want to be able to build that muscle mass. Because as we age, remember, we start losing that muscle mass. And protein is going to be the thing that is going to help us maintain that, or help us build a little bit more muscle mass. So diet will be the number one thing. But as we mentioned before, it's not just protein. You want to make sure that you have your carbs. You want to make sure that you have your fats, all your macros to help you with that. And the second strategy, I would say, is strength training. Strength training, you want to start adding some resistance training. You want to be adding some weights, you know, going to the gym. For me, I personally feel like gym, you know, training at the gym is going to give you better results than just doing body weight exercises. I think body weight exercises are fine if you're just getting started. But there's going to be one stage, or your body's going to reach that stage that you won't see more changes because you're only pushing your own body weight. But once you start adding more weight to that, it's going to be more beneficial. And also for your bones as well, not just your muscles, but it's going to be beneficial for your bones. Your bones are going to get stronger. Your muscles are going to get stronger. So you got to think about that as well. So yeah, I would say strength training at the gym, in my opinion, 100% at the gym. Or if you want, you know, if you buy some dumbbells or equipment at home, that's completely fine. But I just find gym is easier because they've got more equipment, they've got more weights, they've got the space for the gym. Plus, you're paying for your membership, so it's easier for you to go there and show up. It's more fun, it's more entertaining. Sometimes at home, I feel like it's easier for people to be like, oh, I don't feel like working out today, I'll just do it tomorrow. And it's easier to make those excuses because it's just at home, no one is watching you, no one cares. It's just you and whatever. But if you're actually paying for something and investing your money in that membership, you're going to be more likely to be like, actually, I don't want to waste my money. You know, I want to show up this week 3 times a week, and you don't have to train too many days a week. Minimum 3 days. That's more than enough. If that's all you can do, boom, get it done. 3 times a week, resistance training, a good nutrition. That's all you need. You don't need any pills. You don't need any fat burners or any supplements, even protein powder. You don't need it. Yes, it's beneficial. Yes, and creatine. Those two will be very beneficial, but you don't have to. As long as you start with your nutrition and with your training, 10 out of 10, that was going to help you. But yeah, what do you think? Is there anything else you think you will add to those strategies?
I really like the fact that you said they need to train 3 times a week minimum and in the gym, because I feel like 3 is good, is really good, right? It's enough. But 4 is brilliant. And any more than that, I just think, what are you trying to do? Nobody needs to go. I speak to people who tell me they're training 6 days a week. You don't need to do that. You know, this,
yeah.
You know, and give me more. Can I have another workout? Like, I need to do some more. And it's like, maybe try and think about, rather than this being all or nothing, but a part of your lifestyle and progressive and enjoying and learning the process. There are other things that we can do as we age. And I know this doesn't answer the question for maintaining muscle mass, but if you really do want to add more activity in your life because you've got more time, then maybe look at other types of activity to help support your body. So yes, I will mention yoga and Pilates, and walking. Try and do other things that are just going to help you. And that's the thing, a lot of things, I think people who enjoy exercise, they do it a lot of the time but for that mindset, because they enjoy it. But if you are looking at trying to build and maintain muscle mass, I think 4 is the sweet spot. You don't need to be going every single day and doing a different body split or a different body part on every single. None of us are Arnie, or we don't need to. We're not bodybuilders. We don't need to be doing. Even bodybuilders don't train like that now. They it's the way that we program as well. We don't go body part per day. It's not always like that. It's good to kind of split things into halves or into parts. You have to excuse me because I've actually got a bit of a funny throat at the moment.
Yeah, I think everyone's getting sick. I was a little bit sick on the weekend as well.
Oh wow. I'm so sorry for anyone hearing my coughing. But yeah, I think when I add on the back of that, the reason why I mention it, and it's not to say, oh my God, 5 days a week is really bad for you. No, it's because you're not prioritizing rest and recovery either. I feel like we have people on two ends of the spectrum, either people that are completely inactive and don't want to do anything, or do a bit because they're motivated and then lose motivation and then give up because they think that's the thing that gets them in the gym, rather than looking at it as a lifestyle. We get that side. And I know maybe they're a bit rarer, but maybe some women, as they get older, they get a bit more time freedom and stuff, but they're in the gym every single day. And whether it's cardio exercises and HIIT and even weights, actually, every single day. And it's like, you need work hard enough. If you feel like you need to go to the gym every day, work hard enough 4 times a week. And I promise you, you will get way more, you'll get better results than if you were doing every day. So it's not quantity, it's quality of your session, right?
Yeah, just like anything, it's all about quality, sorry, not quantity. But I mean, like, if you want to spend 7 days a week because you have the time, I think do it. But just like Rich, like, don't push yourself so hard every single training session 7 times a week, because you're not giving your body enough time to recover. Because remember, that muscle growth is going to happen when you're resting, not at the gym lifting those weights, but when you're resting. And also, just something I want to touch on really quick about training at the gym. The reason why I mentioned training at the gym, it's because I see so many ladies, they want to train at home and they only have one barbell with maybe 2 kgs on each side, maybe dumbbells of only 1 kg and 2 kgs, which again, it's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you want to build the strength and you want to build more muscle mass, that's not going to be enough. Like, your body's going to get used to that weight. Your body's going to get used to that 1 kg or 2 kgs. There's going to be a point where you either have to buy more equipment for your house, which I think is going to be more expensive because the gym equipment is expensive, or you need to join a gym, something close to your house, something close to your area, to be able to use more machines, to be able to play around with more machines, things like leg press, leg extensions, hamstring curls, calf raises, Smith machines, so many amazing machines that are just going to give you better results because you're going to be able to target more muscle groups and you're going to be able to add more resistance. That's just my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion, but I just feel like personally, gym or having more gym equipment, it's going to be way better than just 1 barbell and 2 dumbbells at home.
I agree. And that's the thing. When people say but I've got work stuff from home, you're going to outgrow it. You're going to do that 1-2 kilo, even if you've got 4 kilo dumbbells. You can't use the same set of dumbbells on every muscle because it's just not going to be effective. Some areas, imagine using a 3 kilo dumbbell for your squats, but then having to use the same 3 kilos to do a lateral shoulder raise. Like, it's gonna feel so different. You're not really going to be getting enough out that, you may as well just hold, I don't know, a backpack and fill it up with stuff if you want to have a better chance of squatting. But at some point you're going to need to, graduate from those weights, right?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Mm.
Okay, let's go with the other question. Okay, do I always need to be in a caloric deficit if I struggle to lose weight and have a poor metabolism?
Mm. Okay. This is a really interesting one, and I feel like it's very there's a big web here, because I think it's very easy to shoot for the metabolism one straight away,
Yeah.
but I think there needs to be some you need to put some glasses on here and actually really get eyes on what this, if you're saying that you're struggling to lose weight and you're in a deficit, if you are truly in a deficit, you will lose weight. That's science. That's, what we do know is that there are times where we're not in a deficit because we didn't track something, or we decided to pick at something, or we had a cheat weekend, or whatever it is that people do, or they call them. They didn't really truly measure what was going on. And so, for example, you think you're in a deficit, you think you're only having 1,200 calories, let's say, but on the days that you're not actually tracking, you're likely having 3,000 calories. So when you start looking at that on a week process or a week time frame, you'll see that actually maybe you're eating slightly above maintenance. And then you have a look at it on a monthly basis, because I did talk about this recently with somebody, but there's even, especially if you're in a longer program, for example, if you look at things over the course of a month, that's still an accumulation of extra things happening, right? Extra weekends off, or extra licks and picks and stuff. That when you look at the bigger picture, have you truly been in a deficit? And if there is something going on with your metabolism, let's say, for example, you are a sufferer of PCOS, right? And you actually have the syndrome. There can be some, blunted or metabolism issues, in terms of but the same thing comes again. If you are truly in a deficit and you've been put in a deficit, you will see changes. So it's not impossible, but that's honestly the first question that I would ask. And just remind me, Daniela, was there a second half to that again?
Yeah, no, mainly what you said, like,
Yeah.
do I always need to be in a caloric deficit, which you already answered, and then I have a poor metabolism, which is a thing that I think people blame straight away. Poor metabolism. That's why I'm not losing weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to really think about, again, the bigger picture. And, what about your expenditure? Where have you, how do you know the calories that you're eating are, even if you are truly eating them and you're truly adherent and you're truly sticking to them, how do you know that they actually match the energy demands? If you have a desk-based job and you don't really go out for walks, you use your car everywhere. Yes, you go to the gym to lift a few weights, or maybe you do a few HIIT classes. Is your energy intake matching your energy expenditure? Like, I don't always like to look at any energy expenditure as a way of burning calories. I feel like but it's just looking at the picture of it. Some people think that they're more active than they are, and actually they're living a very sedentary lifestyle, despite being in the gym 4 or 5 times a week. They could be in the gym 5 times a week, 6 times a week, but their energy expenditure is low, because what they're doing in the gym, that cannot, when they think of this whole picture of, I need a burn and I've got to use all the calories, it's like, no, that's only a small part of the picture. It's a tiny, tiny part of the picture. It's what you do in the other 23 hours of a day that matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Especially with metabolism. I think that's, like I said before, the first thing people blame. I cannot lose weight. It's my metabolism. Or they say metabolism or genetics, those two. It's my genetics, it's my metabolism. That's why I'm really struggling. But yeah, first thing, like Rachel said, like, are you actually in a deficit? And also, how long have you been in this caloric deficit? Have you only been on a deficit for maybe 1 month and you expect to lose that weight? Or maybe it's been a little bit longer and it's been way too long. I think if you have been in a deficit, like a true, an actual deficit, and you have been sticking to those calories, maybe your body's not responding to that anymore. So something that you can try is increasing the calories. You don't want to increase them too much, but you want to increase them slightly, kind of to shock your body a little bit. Give something new to your body, and that way your body's gonna be like, oh, there's more food, and you're gonna start seeing more results once you start eating more. And that's something that I see on my clients all the time, especially the ones that have been eating very, very little for a very long time. As soon as we slowly, and I say slowly on purpose because you don't want to go straight into a surplus, once we start increasing those calories slowly, the results are just amazing. And you can see like how much the body starts changing. They start losing that body fat. Their stomach looks much better and like tighter. And it's because sometimes your body needs more. You're trying to give it less, but your body needs more. So I would say change it up a little bit, with your diet, add more foods, add more things, change those calories, see how your body responds. And it's also all about like trying and testing, trial and error, because we all have different body types. What works for me might not work for you. So it's not like, yep, this is the secret, do this, stick to this, you're going to see the results. Made for me, yes. Made for you, no. So try and be patient when you're trying. Try and actually stick to that thing. And take your progress pictures so you can see that you're actually making changes or not. Because another thing I will say is that sometimes people feel like they're not losing weight or they're not making changes because they're only basing their progress on the numbers on the scale. And they're not taking pictures, or they're forgetting about maybe changing those habits, or the little success that they're having. And it's all about those numbers on the scale are not going, they're only going up, Danny, they're not going down. I've been doing this for 2-3 months and I'm still weighing, let's say, 65 kgs. That number hasn't changed at all. Okay, maybe the number hasn't changed. I agree 100%. But maybe you're building a little more muscle mass, maybe your body's changing. So take those pictures. That's something I always do with my clients. Pictures every single week so we can see exactly how their body is responding to what we're doing. And if you don't want to take them weekly, which is something I will suggest, at least do it every 2 weeks, or at least minimum every month, so you can see month to month the progress that you're making. Because it's always when you put those pictures next to each other, when you're like, wow, actually, I can see the changes. Like, I can see my shoulders, my tummy, my legs, this and that, and then you can see everything. Or maybe you can see you have less cellulite on your legs, especially the back of your legs, maybe on your arms. So start paying attention to those things. It's not just about the numbers on the scale. That's why I hate the scale so much. It builds such an unhealthy relationship, and people get too fixated with that, and they get so upset and frustrated, which is understandable, but it's at the same time, it's just a number. Like, don't let it get to you. It's just a tiny number that you're letting it get to your head, and you're letting that thing make you feel very, very upset. And it can be something that can hold you back.
Yeah.
And you don't want to keep going forward.
Yeah. No, I think that's really very, very interesting as well about the scales as well, because you can literally be heavier or the same weight and look entirely different. And I've seen it time and time again. So no, really, really interesting. And even with a calorie increase, that's really interesting because you'll actually start moving more. And again, it comes back to that expenditure thing. So that can also help, right? So the fact that you are having more is helping you move more, and you're going to have more energy, etc. That was really, really good. Danielle, I'm going to ask you one last question, but let's try, because that one feels a little bit same to what we've done already. So what about hydration? What about hydration? How does hydration help my fitness goals? Why do I need to drink more water?
I will say number one, I think I'm going to start with the gym.
Yeah.
Let's start with hydration is going to help you at the gym. Why? Because if you're nice and hydrated, you're going to get a better pump. And what are we talking about when I say pump? Yes, I have a really good pump at the gym today, or I had a good pump at the gym. It's just having better circulation, so your muscles are able to contract better. And when we have that better circulation, our body can deliver that oxygen and those nutrients to the working muscles. So if we're training, let's say, legs, then you're going to give more oxygen, more nutrients to your legs, your quads, your glutes, whatever muscle groups you're working. And it's going to be easier for your body to remove the waste products, the things that it doesn't need. So that's going to make it easier for you to have that beta contraction. And if you have a beta contraction, you're going to have a beta mind muscle connection, and you're going to be able to work those muscles a little bit better. So you're going to benefit much, much better compared to someone who it's not hydrated at all, or maybe someone that doesn't drink too much water. And that's why I always suggest to my clients, especially if you're training first thing in the morning and maybe you don't eat anything because you feel a little bit heavy if you eat something, hydration is going to be so important before you go to the gym, while you're training. Obviously, don't overdo it while you're training, otherwise you're going to feel funny. And also after you're training and throughout the day. Water, it's going to be your best friend. And if you don't like drinking water, you can maybe add some aminos, add like a scoop of aminos to make it more tasty, add some lemon, cucumber, even berries, they're very low in calories, just to give it a little bit of taste. If you want to have some like caffeine-free herbal teas as well, just to make it nice and tasty, especially now in winter time for us here in New Zealand. Yeah, but just make it fun. Like make sure you are hydrated. So that's one reason why it's going to help you. You sound so sick with your training. Another thing, hydration is going to help you. This is not much related with fitness, but also for your skin. Like being nice and hydrated is going to help you to have that nice and beautiful elasticity in your skin. Your skin needs that water. Your skin also needs to be hydrated. If you're not hydrated enough, I can guarantee your skin is going to be a little bit dry, or it won't have that elasticity that you want to have, or it's going to have too much, and it's not going to be looking the way you want it to be looking. And that's why hydration is also important. Another reason why, for your day-to-day life, just for your body to function properly. Like our body is made up of water. I think roughly 80% just water, something like that. But your body needs that water. Yes, we have a lot of water right now in our body without me drinking water. But that water is not going to stay there forever. You know, that water is always functioning. So you want to make sure that you're hydrating your body, that you're giving your cells enough water, because our body is made up of little tiny cells, and those cells need that hydration. So you want to make sure you give that your blood vessels, everything in your body. I would say those are the three main reasons, like from the top of my head. Mainly pump at the gym, your skin, and just for your body to function properly. Is there anything else that I'm missing, or anything that you think it's important for?
I think I really like the fact that you can make the water taste nicely as well. You can get like flavored, low calorie, 5 calories a glass or something flavor, which is, I think that helps people that don't like the taste of water. And I think maybe, again, it's something that can often happen when people are young and they're children, and they don't like the taste, and they're told to drink water, and then as they become adults, they just never really catch on to it. So yeah, I think that's really helpful. But yeah, water is so important for so many things, and you can get some really horrible muscle cramps, especially if you're training in the gym. You can get cramps if you're not drinking and you're not hydrated enough. You can suffer with fatigue, with like sleep issues and stuff, and actually just poor performance. Not having enough water is actually dangerous as well. But like, we need to have fluid. So it doesn't necessarily mean you need to have like clear water and that's the only thing. But as Daniela said, like, you can have, herbal teas, you can have aminos or flavors that you can put in your water. But I think the key thing here is to stay hydrated, and especially with me, and I say the UK is supposedly, we're in summer right now, but it's warmer, and you're going to be sweating more, you're going to be losing more water, and you're losing water during exercise as well. It's just so important. And yeah, that's mostly it really on that.
Yeah, and like if you start feeling dehydrated, you're gonna get that headache, that annoying headache, and then that's gonna affect your mood, that's gonna affect your day. You're not gonna feel like doing anything. It's gonna affect your motivation, and all because you're not drinking your water. Like something so simple, just drink your water. That's why I carry my water bottle with me everywhere I go, because it's just nice and easy. Like just drink that water, and I feel like the more you do it, the more you're gonna get used to, and it's just gonna be much, much easier. And just like anything, you're gonna build that habit, and it's gonna become habitual and you won't even think about it. But those were not all the questions. We have more questions, but we're running out of time.
We'll
But
be
thank you
back.
so much, guys. Yeah, we'll be back. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Richu, for being here as well and help us answering those questions. Don't forget, guys, to send us your questions on social media. Anything that you want to learn about, any struggles, challenges, and concerns, please send that our way. We're here to help you. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it on your social media and tag me at Daniella Del Carpio and tag Richu at Richu Bar. That's RECHUBRAR.
Yeah.
Until next time. And as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao, ciao.